Hello and welcome to Life at the Laundry Garden. I've got something very exciting to share with you today. We are going to be putting a water feature into the walled garden. This is something we've wanted to do for a very long time, but never really found the right thing to use or the time to do it. And water features are extremely difficult things to achieve and get right. Over the past few years, I have been scouring through magazines and the internet and looking at what other people are doing in their gardens and to see if that's something we could implement here. It's so difficult when you have a period property like this. You either go ultra modern or you try and stay in keeping with the nature of your surroundings. And I think we've possibly come to quite a good compromise with the idea we've both come up with. We have looked at lots of different elements that we can use as a water feature. Things like cotton steel, which is beautiful, in keeping, nice and rustic, very expensive for the size we want. Stone, absolutely stunning, would look amazing where we want to put it. Again, very heavy, very difficult to move into where we want it to go. Costly also. You've got zinc, you've got steel, and again, they can also be quite pricey too. And then Tom spotted in one of his fields here a cattle drinker. Well, brilliant idea. The size is right for where we want to put it. And also we've been given a sort of a galvanized steel, old sort of, I think it's an old water tank, I think. I'll check with Tom. And I think between the two, we could put them side by side and work out a format where we could have water falling from one into the other. And this is something we're going to play around with as well once we move them into the place where we're going to put them. Now, where we're going to put them is in the walled garden. None of our garden areas have any water features in them. And we've sort of had to wait for the right moment and the right place and the right elements to all come together at once, like this one. Let me show you first what we're going to use, and then I'm going to show you where we're going to be putting it. Now I'm keeping my fingers crossed it's not going to rain again. We've had showers on, off and on all of today and for the past few days. So let's hope the weather's on our side. Come on. The first thing I'm going to show you are these galvanized old water tanks. They're pretty old. This one was, well, they've both been given to us. This one was given to us just recently by my sister-in-law's boyfriend, who happens to be a farmer, which is fantastic. And this one we had for quite a while, and I can't quite remember how we came to get that. So you can see the size, and you can see their usefulness and potential, what we can make as a water feature. And let's go and have a look at the trough. Oh, and just typical, it starts raining. It's been like this and it's driving me mad. But we're going to be under trees in a minute. So come on. That's better. And here it is. What a beauty. I'm really glad Tom spotted this. He's got razor sharp eyes when it comes to these lovely finds. This is a galvanized cattle drinker, and I don't know how old it is. It's got a good aged look about it, which is what we were wanting to have in the garden. And there's lots of great elements about it and character that we can we can play around with and tamper with to sort of help create a really good looking water feature within the walled garden. A bonus as well is it holds water, which is fantastic. I don't know whether we'll put a liner in it. There's a few things that we are going to talk about over the coming months and weeks on exactly how we're going to format things and change things with the elements we're using. But before I go any further with this, I just have to show you something. I was just spotting some of our first emerging snowdrops in our garden. In a few weeks' time, this woodland, especially over there and just around the corner, will be covered in a sea of beautiful white snowdrops. Galanthus nivalis, they are called. Took me a while to learn that one. So let's just have a quick look now before we go any further. And be careful not to tread on any because there are some coming up. But here they are. Here. Look. Oh, just. Oh, literally, my heart skips a beat when on a dull day like today and this happens. It's literally like magic. Here's a closer look. These beautiful white snowdrops, and it won't be long before all of this area here will be covered in a sea of white. Can't wait. And after that slight distraction, let's head into the walled garden so I can show you exactly where we're going to put that cattle drinker. A few other things that are starting to emerge within this woodland setting here are some hellebores. But I won't keep you much longer, and I'll show you the hellebores next time probably. Come on. Oh, just starting to chill off. This is the southwest corner, and it's been a really annoying corner that I've drawn blanks at for years, and I've just put plants in here to tide us over and to just make it look fairly pretty and looked after. But in reality, I've just not known what to do with it, because with it being a corner, you need focal points. Where I'm standing, you need focal points that are going to draw you from that doorway down to here, and also from just over behind the camera to over here. Now you can put a focal point where I'm standing, or you can put a focal point within the border here, and within the border here, which is where we are going to put the water feature. What we're going to do is carry the water trough or cattle drinker, whatever you're going to call it, and bring it to this point and have a feel for it and have a look at it within its space and see how it looks from the doorway over there, and think a lot more about what we're going to put behind it with water falling into it, and so on. So we're going to come back to all of that another day. But just in this corner here, I think if I show you this whole corner space, and then what we're going to do is we'll go back inside and Tom will sketch it out for you so that you can get a really good idea and also see it from our perspective and what's going on in our minds to how we visualize how this space is going to look eventually. Now it will change probably here and there, and we might change our minds or not massively, but that's the absolute nature of playing with your own space and making a plan. Right, let's go into this little corner here. Okay, so this is, you can see the corner here, and it's quite a big area behind me. And what we're hoping to do is to, let me get in here now, dig out all of this, because I've not really put anything particularly special plant-wise in here, and a lot of it can be shifted to somewhere else or just taken out. Right, I'm standing fairly central here to what we're thinking of doing. I feel that a circular area right around me here, where it'll be hard standing and you will step up to it, I suspect. I'm thinking cobbles. Tom might disagree because it will be him that will be laying them, but we do have cobbles. There were cobbles at the back of the house and we do have some left over as well. And I think a beautiful circular cobbled area here would look beautiful. And also Tom's talked about possibly putting some sort of wooden pergola structure over it as well, which again, it would be so nice to be able to grow things over it and play around with different plantings. So there will be a gap at the back here where we can plant, and around the sides also. So lots to think about and lots to play with. I'll move you over to this next bit just here on the other side. Okay. Now this is where we need to put another focal point. I'm not going to step too far back because there's a prickly berberis just here. Now I think about where I'm standing here, we will need to put another focal point. Now Tom has, I think it's a piece of stone from a gatepost or something, and it's quite a good height as well, and I've been given a beautiful metal sphere which is sitting in a shed somewhere. And again, it's one of those things where I've been given it as a gift and not quite known where to put it. These things have to sit right within their place, and it's one of those things that needs to be on something so it can show it off beautifully. And here feels like the right place for it. The planting I have behind me, I've got a berberis here and I've got a beautiful Acer. Now, I don't want to move the Acer. I think it's perfect and right for its place, and it's doing really, really well. I'm going to leave that there. But the berberis, I'm still not sure because it's actually getting quite big and starting to hide the Acer a little bit. And also, I'd like to have something that has a good contrast leaf colour-wise with the Acer. I don't know whether I'd go for something maybe like a grass, or I don't know. I need to have a good think about it. But maybe when we have put something in place here, I can then start to visualize a little bit more about the planting and what we can do, where it can go. Again, also, we haven't made a complete decision on the hard landscaping of how much paving or maybe even cobbles that this piece of stone will sit on. So hopefully when we sit down, and I can't wait to go inside because it's getting cold, we can map it out and show you on our big map as well this corner, and give you a better view from above and visuals to hopefully help you see what we're saying within this area. But now you've seen it with me in it and for real, and fingers crossed you'll get some sort of an idea what we're talking about when we show you on paper. Right, we're going to start losing the light fairly soon, and I'm going to head back in and get Tom to show you the rest. Here's a quick recap of the garden plan. I'm just going to show you, this is the wall garden, and this is the southwest corner where I've just been standing. And I've now got Tom with me, who is going to talk you through some of the process of what we're going to be doing. Over to you, darling.
Hello. I've been brought out of cold storage, given a bit of gin, and I'm up and raring to go. So I'm just going to explain. This is the picture. Is that going to be in the right place?
I'll do an overhead one as well.
Okay, this is a picture of the area we're looking at, the corner of the wall garden, and Jenny's going to point the camera over my shoulder as I sort of design the area and show you how it's all going to be.
Yep.
Here's our plan of the garden. This is the south wall of the wall garden, and then this is the corner in question, which needs the water feature. The water feature is going to go here, and the other feature with the spiral globe is going to go there. So in slightly better detail, this is the corner, south wall, and then this is the area that we are going to work on. So for scale, that is 14 foot, and that is 14 foot. And I'm sorry, I can't work that out in my head for meters, but it's 5 meters or something like that. Okay, so we are thinking of putting the water feature here directly in line with the center of this pathway. Here we are, we walk in this way, and the trough, or drinking trough, is going to go here. And then we have a water tank. Now we're not entirely sure where that's going to go. It's either going to go here to one side and then flow in, or it's going to go at the top end of the water trough and flow in that way. We're not sure on that one yet. And then the other feature, which is the sphere on top of a stone circular pillar, which is actually an old roller, it's an old stone roller, is going to go here. And then we're not quite sure what we're going to do around it, but there is definitely a level change, so there will be something like this going on here, and then a circular cobbled area, if my knees will take it, laying them here with possibly a wooden pergola over it, and then we can grow a vine or something like that over the top of it. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the area. And to give you a vague idea of what the water feature is going to look like, So that's south. So that's the south facing wall. So that's north. Yeah. Now I'm going to get drawing, and I'm going to draw a vague idea in a semi-artistic fashion of what the water troughs are going to look like in situ. Okay, so this is the corner, this area here. We've got the corner of the path, which is there, and the water feature, the trough, which is that trough there, is here. The trough has a slightly raised bit on the end of it, which was where the float and the inlet were when it was used as a cattle drinker. And that could be quite handy, really, because you could have the water coming from the water tank next to it flowing into that area. That could be quite fun. So the water level will end up something like that. We've also thought about having water flowing into the trough above the water drinker, the cattle drinker, and that may just come out of the wall or from some sort of upright, which could be anything. It could be a metal girder or something like that. So we haven't quite thought about that one. But these are going to be on different. I think these are going to have to be on different levels. So we're dealing with quite a big level change between here and here at the moment, and we're probably going to keep that level because it will change everything else if we start changing it. So we're going to dig out a lot of it anyway because we're putting in material, but we're going to keep this step up from the pathway, and then we're going to introduce a fresh step probably halfway in, maybe a little bit further back, so that number one, we can put in another trough a little bit higher up so it'll pour into the cattle drinker, and number two, it defines the area where this feature is, the sphere on top of the old stone roller, and it gives quite a good step up to the area where we're going to have a circle of cobbles, which is there. So that's it.
There's all the design process. I wish I could be so artistic and be able to draw as good as you. I think that's explained things pretty well, and I hope it's given you a good overview of what's going on in our heads and our ideas for this whole plan.
Yes, and slight caveat, it could take a while. So we've got a lot going on this year, and this is going to take a while. So we're going to certainly do it in stages, and it may not be finished by the end of the year. But we thought we brought you in, bring you in early. That's the thing.
But I think a lot will happen, and we'll take you through each process. Obviously, there's going to be the boring side when Tom digs out things and so on. But the next stage for us will be taking the trough into the walled garden, won't it? What would be the next stage, do you think, Pat?
We'll take that in to see how it feels, won't we? We'll move that in. We'll move the water troughs in, or the water tanks, and we might even get a spray out and spray some shapes. See how we like the feel of it.
Yeah. So we'll bring you along with that process, which is quite simple and straightforward, and we'll talk you through that as well, and our thought processes and so on. But in the meantime, there we are. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. you.